And welcome back to session 4 of A Lingering Sickness. Now, we last left our companions kind of fractured. That nightmarish encounter in the mangrove has crippled our party with no small amount of a heavy heart going forward. We had to say goodbye to a friend. Um, Although a friend that we had met recently, we had grown very attached, and she possibly may still be with us, coming back. But as the curtains open on the scene, Roland Till is finishing up a uh, a cooked trout that was handed to him on a tree bark plate, a short ways away. Here, Ilmatar, the warden of the Winter Coven, and a priest of the Silent Monolith, they have a quiet moment of meditation and contemplativeness as the Elder Thorn is a distance away, tending to the Fairfolk child that he has adopted. He is currently feeding her these little bits of trout. She does not have her teeth yet. He's got to partially chew it, and the had some of this fish flake meat over. The sounds of a warm autumn day with a low fog uh, over this river a short ways by, and the golden shafts of the autumn morning come through the pine trees and the firs. Roland Till, would you describe your character for us as you have your morning breakfast?
So Merlon, decked out pretty much head to toe in black, different shades of black. His clothing is not a flat single color. It is, if it were possible to have a rainbow of blacks, he'll be wearing it. The outer cloak is the darkest. The weave itself extremely tight. The kind of weave only the ancient Fairfolk could do. The Fairfolk of the night, that is, his people. Um, the hood at the moment is not pulled up because he is inside. Therefore, the sun will not be falling upon his head. His hair is the typical raven black of his people. His skin is a very pale white, almost an alabaster color. The eyes themselves are a black that's a slight shade lighter than the hair. As he eats this bit of trout, his upper torso is encased in the black ebon of a coat of plates, and that coat of plates is made up of, between the metal and the leather that has been dyed a midnight black that is a slight shade lighter than the metal itself. The belt is a worn leather belt of black as well, with ebon buckle. The pants that he wears is it's a black that is almost worn lighter to gray, but is still definitely black. And his boots, soft leather, have been dyed a dark black as well. But the texture of those gives that black a bit of depth. And the in contrast, all of this darkness doesn't seem to suck light out of the surrounding area, but more of gives it a comparison to the shadows, making them seem to be more alive as well.
Beautifully done. Ilmatar, would you describe for your character for us?
Well, him and Roland could probably be an advertising duo here, since his compatriots decked out in ebon and Ilmatar is decked out in Fey Iron. Be a nice juxtaposition in a commercial somewhere if those things existed back then. No, like I said, Ilmatar is pretty much decked out head to toe in Fey Iron garments. His skin is that nice burnished color, kind of glowing a little bit in the light coming in through what little windows we do have here. His hair falls just a little bit below shoulder length. It's actually not dyed or colored this time around. Shocker for everyone, I know. He has his quarterstaff actually sitting next to him, considering he is sitting down. Otherwise, it would normally be swung over. His shield, likewise, is sitting beside him as well, kind of propped up against the wall. He has a helm, but it's not really a helm in a traditional sense. It's more like a woody circlet almost. He doesn't do the full like head, over face type of ideal. He leaves his face open, but it's the top and the back. But yeah, besides that, he is really just he stands a little over 5 feet tall. He's really just eating, contemplating, trying to figure out the next step. Because his mind's kind of back on that marsh and that swamp with that stone, and how much he really, really wants to break that stone. He does take note of the Fairfolk child, but he does let their person who let them stay here kind of do what he needs to do. He's heard the story, and at this point at least, that's kind of a not my circus, not my monkey type of ideal. Like if push comes to shove and he has to help, he will, but that's not his business. And it will stay not his business.
This barbarian regards his I don't know if you guys would be considered his charges right now, because you were allowed to sleep in his home, however, a temporary home. Nevertheless, he regards you guys with a quiet thoughtfulness as he's feeding this small Fey babe, and he actually hands her kind of just like to immobilize her, because it's kind of impossible to gauge a fairy child's development. On a human, she could pass between like 18 months and maybe like 2 or 3 just before we start getting our teeth. But he hands her like the fishtail with like a little bit of the spine like sticking out, because she's trying to like grab at things, and as babies do. It's like, here, just hold on to that, and you just hold on to it, and you're just staring at it with this like intensity that an infant would, just trying to figure out the hell it is, as he continues feeding her. And you'll hear a kind of a jovial chuckle coming from across the cave. He says, yeah, no, you don't make a mess with that now. And this baby coos for a moment. It just goes back to eating without looking up at you. He says, I hope that you'll take some of my words to heart, as I spoke the evening before. I believe the Astromancer would be your best source of information. I have heard that the Shadow Fae have withdrawn to a keep in the mountains to the east of here. He just kind of like half looks at Roland and says, well, to my understanding, your people like having countless weights of stone above your heads. The sky, the weight of the sky is different and could be off-putting.
It is disconcerting for my kind to not have something above our heads to look up and see. Eternity there is, well, I'm not sure how. When he looks over at Ilmatar and looks back to their host, I'm not sure exactly how you guys don't go insane from it.
We have the endless blue sky that is the cloth of Lekra above us. And sometimes we hear her voice in the clouds. That gives us comfort. He looks over at Ilmatar and says they generally have trees and leaves above them to decorate that sky for them. I have only seen the undercity of a bearded folk kingdom, and I can see that the roof of a gallery can be beautiful in and of its own kind. He just kind of just nods, has a bit of fish himself. For a barbarian, you kind of get this idea. He's a lot more contemplative than a country Arborian probably should be. He's very widely traveled, and you don't have to ask him to know. I don't want to invite this comparison. Similar still to Conan, but not bloodthirsty, not too willing for battle.
I've heard tales that your people, speaking to our host, are sometimes referred to as warrior poets. You have souls that are artistic in nature, but have that lust for battle about you at all times, and those two passions merge in a very unexpected way. I've not met many of your people. Are most of them like this? And he sort of vaguely gestures towards them. So contemplative, so well spoken.
I grew up near to a sage's lair, and I was given privilege to read. Well, I was given the secret and the gift of reading. And then I had the privilege of a young boy to read many of these books. And this simply made my lust for battle, lust for the world, the lust for the flesh, and the lust of the eyes simply to see all things. And he kind of takes a moment, he smiles, and he pokes this little baby girl's nose, and he says, "This poor thing's village was burned by these Red Devil people, and I've seen how terrible they can be, and I want to keep her and her kin and her other people from the south, these summer men and women, these boys and girls, safe from such a thing." These Atlanteans, well, they are strangers in a strange land, and they are sad because they are looking for something that they cannot find here. Many Arborians look at battle as poetry with arms and formations and war horns and standards on the battlefield. Some do the same with their arts, their craftsmen, their artisans. They till the earth in the same fashion that we till flesh on the battle. Some more than others, but many of us are.
Very interesting.
I did not get your names earlier.
You may call me Rilan.
It is customary for your people to have one name.
It is.
If it is a
Yes.
secret for me to know your surname, I do not need to know it.
Well, there is no surname per se. Our names tend to be long, and those we come in contact with, well, we shorten our names for their ease.
For the ease of someone else's tongue, I appreciate that.
Well, Merlin Telinatar is the common name I go by among my people, but many find their tongues tripping over that. So thus we make it easy by Merlon or Till.
Your name, Shadow. He kind of looks at your garb.
Mhm.
Your name is like a mountain river babbling over stones.
Yes. Our
I should write a
language.
poem of you.
Oh, it would be. I would be honored if you did.
Ilmatar, on the other hand, I have heard of you. I have dealt with your coven for some time. Winter. This horrible thing that has stopped the season. We do not know. We no longer have autumn. Winter has not come. And you've seen that. Well, I have to take care of this child until there is another that can take care of her far better than I can. I hope that the two of you can fix this. Fix this. He kind of indicates the changing leaves on the trees that can change here. My name's Lowry, or at least that's what my people call me. He stands and kind of adjusts his jerkin to where you can see that golden thorn bush brooch. Lowry of the House of Thorn.
Pleasure and well met.
But I have to get going. We're going to be burning sunlight soon. Travel safely, friends. I hope to see you again. As he says this, he picks up the child and he puts her in this little papoose board and he gathers up his things. Goes into the back of this cave and he draws forth a war sword made of fey iron, whose hilt is it's all one piece of fey iron, all one piece of metal, and the hilt is two adders coiled around each other as if they're mating, and then the pommel comes together as their noses come together and their eyes are set with emeralds. What you can, if you have academics, I'll let you roll academics, see what. Certainly the weapon has a name. I want to see if you're familiar with it.
That was Ilmatar, not me, right?
Whoever has academics.
23.
What was that for Ilmatar?
23.
23. Oh, yeah. And Roland? 23 and 16. Yeah, no, you are both familiar with the sword known as Adderfjord. The sword that's allegedly slain a mountain giant king. And the sword that was used at Jarl Grimmer's Fall, that same weapon. He belts the war sword onto his hip and gives you both kind of a smile, but he doesn't show his teeth. It's kind of a smile, and Fair winds to you. And he leaves quietly. As you're left simply with the songbirds of this early morning in the mist in this almost perfect autumn day. It's quite warm for autumn now. Where do you wish to go?
I'll look over at Ilmatar and finish off the last bit of his fish. And he'll say, so, this is a trip to your homeland, yes?
Yep. Many changed since being there.
This will be an adventure for me, as I've never been there. Do you think I'll be accepted there, or will I face danger possibly?
Well, you're not going to be welcomed with open arms, but we'll make do.
Merlin will get up and walk over to the fish. Since the fellow left him, we'll take those and wrap them in a bit of cloth or whatnot and put them in a pack. Meals for the day or two at least. Well, let's be about it, my friend.
Yep.
He throws his hood up.
I won't make you roll for it because the road is quite plentiful. You're able to hunt and forage for wild edibles along the way and fish the streams where you can. The road is somewhat treacherous. There are a handful of times where you'd had run in with goblins. Only one of them actually ended in bloodshed. No injuries were had on your side, however. But one of the clues that did strike at least Roland with some discomfort was one of these goblins had an ebon camp knife on him, and you come to the conclusion that these might be the fleeing goblins from that keep that your companions may have taken, and unfortunately, one of your companions had one of these goblins had the drop on him or her, and they had been laid low by such a thing. So you're able to recapture that. And you come down, you're still on the mortal and Arborian side of the river, steering clear of the Atlanteans here. All the way down to the south. It takes another, I'll say, about a month's worth of journey cross country. And you pick your way through these, through the megafauna and the other monsters of the world. One night you bed down and you hear the song of a distant spirit. A haunting female voice in the fog and of this lowland, and you are forced to pack your shit up and leave in the middle of the night. We do not tangle with banshees. You march through the night with one level of exhaustion on you, and you come to the edge lands of the Atlanteans and the mortals. Your supplies are running low. And as Roland is cooking that morning, your morning meal, you've got you fried up a pair of quail's eggs that you're able to find. You've got a bit of bread that you are able to trade some goblin ears and maybe a tusk for some primitive tribal bread. And you're getting ready to have yourself some toast with scrambled quail egg on the top and maybe a little bit of butter and then a blueberry when an arrow takes the sandwich out of your hand, and these god-forsaken goblins who have no respect for breakfast come into your camp. Make your reaction rolls, please. So with a 23, Roland Till will go first. So I would like for you to describe for me, and you could probably take a soliloquy momentarily for this, as this breakfast was taken from you. You were you just salivating at breakfast, and then nope.
So, being just a bit before dawn, before the actual light has crested the horizon, Roland is relishing the few moments he's being allowed to actually be in his natural element, not under that Feldane forsaken blazing disk of a sun that he has come to truly despise. And for that moment, although there is a fire there, he is happy to be in the dark and be feeling great, feeling good. He has this food in his hand. He is relishing it. He is. It is the last bit of comfort he knows before this eye of a god shall rise above the horizon and force him to hide away, lest he be burned, lest he, and even then his it steals his vision, it steals his will to live in some cases, he thinks. But this bit of comfort on this long road it's a joy, and he is smiling when the arrow comes flying through and destroys it. His heart goes dark. He looks up and sees this goblin, and he just growls deep in his soul and says to himself, Feldane, take you. And he is going to use his snuff the light secret to make the light go away from the fire around him, to bring the darkness in.
He is one combatant is using a what looks to be like a copper hand axe with kind of like an oversized axe head, and he's coming out of the underbrush to have a go at you, but you can actually make your attack first.
Okay. Is going to attack with his short blade because that's what he would have had available to him at that moment. Okay. This poor thing's gonna die.
Get him. Good. No respect for breakfast. None. And it landed sticky side down, so it's not even savable.
33.
Oh,
The ultimate dishonor.
Yeah, right? No, he cannot answer that with a big
Exploded.
fat 7 for his defense.
Yeah. Exploded many a time there. So,
Get him. Good.
let's see. So, was that 5 dispatches the max?
5 dispatches capses. Yep.
So okay, so that's
If you're gonna do more than 14 points of damage, you're just gonna blow out his.
not quite. 12.
No, 12. Oh, he's looking real bad though.
Mhm.
He's not dead, but he sure as hell looks like it. He'll bleed out in next
That's
turn
okay.
anyway.
I want him to scream in the darkness.
You may describe for us how you slice him wide open.
So basically, as this thing comes charging in and the light goes down, for Relon, it's more like the light comes up because he's now back in his natural element, as if someone actually turned the lamp on for him. He sees this thing come charging at him and reaches down to his belt and pulls out his long knife that he keeps there. It's more of a utility blade, really, than a typical fighting blade per se, but it is balanced as such. And as this thing gets within range, he just lunges forward and just slashes toward the belly of this thing, shoves it into the thing's belly, twists it, and rips up, giving him a wonderfully horrible stomach wound, but making sure he doesn't cut up too far. He doesn't want to cut to the diaphragm. He wants this thing to scream.
And howl in surprise and agony he does as he stumbles past you, and face down, tusks buried deep in the dead leaves and pine needles here, as we go to the next goblin, who's gonna try and horribly fail to what he's gonna try and do is run Ilmatar through with a spear. Well, what ends up happening is he gets a 9 on his attack, and Ilmatar, I would fucking hope that Ilmatar is probably able to enjoy his breakfast as well as defend himself. Just to stick it to Roland a little bit.
Yeah, he got a 20 on his defense. So
I'll say so. Yeah. You can describe for us how you evade that. What were you having for breakfast, by the way? It was quail's eggs and toast, evidently.
yeah, right. Evidently. So essentially, Ilmatar would be sitting there probably a little bit of ways away from Roland as Roland's cooking. Probably seeing what's around that's growing that, wasn't looking well, that, whatever he could do as the warden part of him right now. He would see that arrow come through. You see the food fall to the ground, and he would actually give like a visible, like, as he sees it land sticky side down.
Oh, you can't even blow on it. It's
right. It's
gone.
And then of course he'd see this goblin come through, and he'd see Roland gut him, watch him go face first, and it's almost like one of those surreal clarity things, as he would see the second goblin come in, try to go at him, and he have his hand with his food, and he'd just be like, no. And I'm assuming he's going to swing at him here soon. It would just be one of those casual, just no.
Nope. There we go. So
whack.
This his spear point will actually pass you, and he'll fucking miss. Obviously, you'll get that. And Ilmatar, you can counterattack for yours.
So yeah, Ilmatar would actually have his quarterstaff right there next to him, and because he's eating with one hand, he literally just pick it up and almost like cudgel strike the goblin as he goes by.
Make your attack then. Oh man, I'm rolling like garbage. These guys are done. 14 vitality.
28 to hit.
Oh yeah, no, I got a 7. Well, an 8. He's got a +1.
Okay. So just 1d8 for damage and everything, right?
1d8 and it explodes. 1d8 plus your physique modifier.
And that's
10.
That's with the dispatch bonuses and everything.
Nice. So yeah, you're gonna wallop him a good one, and he's gonna stumble past off into the underbrush behind you, but he's certainly not dead. Now back to the top, Roland, you're now probably on your feet as two other goblin combatants are going to come out. One is in the brush with a bow. He is reaching for another arrow. And the forward goblin is coming at you with what looks like a spiked cudgel, a very crude copper spiked cudgel.
All right. He is going to move forward towards this this creature with the spiked cudgel.
Mm. They're good slave stock, by the way.
That's good. They've also pissed me off and taken my breakfast.
Oh, so that's it. We're done.
As such, we're not being nice. He is going to attempt. He's just going to basically go in and go for a stab on this thing with his short blade.
There you go. You can do
17.
17 for an attack.
Yeah.
God damn it. I got a 9. So a 10 with a +1, excuse me.
One dispatch.
I don't think Ilmatar has does have a truncheon or a club of some kind.
13 on the damage on that.
Okay. He's looking real bad. He's also going to bleed out next session. He'll bleed out next week. Thank you.
Can I grab him by the back of his neck and turn him around and use him as just to like duck behind? Between me and his friend who's the archer.
Yeah. You do this with a especially in the dark. You have I will give you an extra action there. Make an attack. That'll obviously be your grapple. He's going to take a hell of a penalty, mind you, because he's only got 1 vitality left.
Just a basic grapple then is going to be there's no bonus to that except for my physique. So it's going to be a 16 for the grapple.
He cannot match that. He got a 4.
So I'm basically going to stab him, use the knife as a handle, grab the back of his neck and sort of whip him around. And stand and sort of duck behind him.
Within those seconds, I mean, fluidly, he's going for an arrow. And as you've basically stabbed his companion, by the time you have him turned around and you duck your head behind that wide tusked frog-like mouth, he's already drawn and loosed. So that arrow will actually land in his friend's throat. That's the fluidity of this fight scene. And you'll see as that arrow lands, out of the corner of your eye, there seems to be another goblin there, kind of decked out in some gaudy like bone and river shell, some kind of mystic of some kind, and he steps out and with a kind of like a horsehair bone and what looks to be like a think of a pixie, like a field pixie, like Tinkerbell size. It kind of sits in the palm of your hand, but petrified, like a charm hanging from this fetish, like a troll bone fetish, and he's about to do something as a spear lands in the back of his head, and the spear point bursts through his mouth as he was about to utter some horrible eldritch nightmare. And we have this valiant drow woman just like, die, you bastard! And he's poleaxed to the ground. And that's the end of that turn. 5 goblins down. One has just bled out, and there's one that's severely wounded about 6 feet behind Ilmatar. And there's a half-naked bone outfitted trow woman with half-cured Smilodon furs, because Mama doesn't have enough time to cure furs because her armor cooked off weeks and weeks ago. She has a pauldron on her left arm, which is a Smilodon's fucking head, and very much kind of like the Monster Hunter bone armor. She's just very tired, bags under her eyes. Chest heaving. She looks hot and angry. Lynx, would you describe your character for us and the ordeal that this poor woman has had to go to trying to find her two chucklehead companions? Be graphic, please.
She's not happy. Very clear. She's just, her hair is long, matted in some places. Just, you're not sure what it's matted with, and you're not sure you want to know. The fingernails are long and chipped. They look more akin to claws than anything else at this point. She's carrying just a rock that has just a rock that looks like it had a natural hole in it, tied around her neck with what looks to be bits of fur made into a crude thong. And she has just traveled looking everywhere and asking anybody who would stop and be willing to talk to her, whether through petrified fear or ballsiness, where these two have gone. She went back to the stone, thinking, oh, they couldn't have been gone that long. Well, turns out they had been. So,
with 2 grades of exhaustion on her character sheet, she looks whipped to shit. And the dust settles. The floor is yours, gentlemen.
Merlon will look at this figure as he drops this dead goblin, pulling the blade out of its gut with a slurp as it falls. He looks at her and tilts his head just a bit, looks a bit closer, waves his hand a bit, and it gets slightly darker, as he almost as if someone would turn the light up. But being that his people are more used to darkness than light, he's dimming it down a bit so you can see better. He looks at her and says, "What specter are you?"
if I was a specter, I would not be demanding that you put out that fire. I do not want to be cooked again.
It's dark.
Campfire is visible from miles away. How do you think I found you? Smoke.
He takes about a step back so he can actually sort of see Ilmatar to his right hand side, engaging his reaction and looking back, because he buried her. Ilmatar was there, and he's skeptical.
You may or may not, with your superstitions of the Far East and the mountains, you might be looking at a very well-dressed white right now. You're not sure.
That literally is the one. Well, the last thing I saw, the thing that killed her, was a white. Has it caused her body to be raised and sent it looking for us, hunting for us? Because it did just say so.
That is, I'm not going to say anything. Honestly,
He tilts his head and stays
Play
in
your
defensive
characters.
stance. How come you to be here?
Not quite sure. Woke up under the ground and under the rocks. Stormy day and everything. Had to crawl my way out from under it. You guys use a lot of rocks.
We didn't want predators to drag your corpse and scatter it about the land.
Appreciated. Yeah, I kind of assumed it was you two who buried me. Yeah, not quite sure. Just stormy night, and next thing I know, I'm back.
Roland's eyes are, he gets a bit, sort of narrows his eyes a bit, looks over to Ilmatar and says, "Can you tell if it's alive or not?"
As I just typed that in, right? Ilmatar actually didn't see her for the first second. He actually had promptly gone over and smacked the one goblin he smacked before one last time, just for good measure. And then he kind of turned as the whole massacre of the other goblins happened, and he saw Roland standing there kind of gobsmacked. And he'd look, and he'd get a little, he'd actually come closer. He wouldn't step back. He actually get closer. And he just looks at her. Doesn't touch her. He knows better. Doesn't touch her. Gets really close.
One step
then-
closer, and it's a spear in your gut, friend.
See? You see what I gotta deal with on a day-to-day basis? Jesus. But no, as she mentions the stormy, waking up on the stormy night, he kind of gets like that, not quite sarcasm, but almost like that smirk in his eyes of, oh, well, I guess Nekra wasn't done with her yet. As he's standing there, he actually he will call upon his winter coven side of himself, and actually will do, that whole trying to sense the life force around her, to see if this actually is legit or if they are about to be gutted anyway, because this is an undead abomination.
You're tapping into the fabric of nature and of life. Does tell you that she is very much alive. This is your Iosha from a good month and a half ago. How the mother of Nagax could cheat death is completely beyond you.
He left that completely up to the deity's power. That's why he said Nekra wasn't done with her yet.
So
He doesn't really question the how. He takes that on faith.
mhm.
But he would look back at Roland and he just nods. And yeah, it's her. She still has a belly button too.
Roland, with a very fluid moves closer to her, sheathing his blade, and he will just give her a big hug.
She doesn't smell good.
That's okay.
She like half tanned hides that are still maybe a little sticky. And she just very tired. She smells awful.
That's okay. He gives her a big hug, pulls her close to himself, and nuzzles his face into her neck and says, "I'm sorry I buried you."
It's all right. It's good to see you
He
too.
grabs her ass.
And I will respond by promptly kicking him in the balls because I ain't got time for that.
Mama's too tired for that.
He'll limp back a couple of steps, with a smile on his face. He just says, worth it.
Is that food?
It is.
If you're
Oh, by the way,
afraid of
this whole time, Imitar still has that bread with the quail eggs on it. So
I'm
yeah.
pointing at the one on the ground.
Sticky
Yes.
side down.
Mine.
I don't care.
as you wish.
Ah,
Ron will go sit down and dig out the last of his fish, and chew on the last little leathery bits of fish in his pouch.
You're about a 4 days march from your current position to the edge of the woodland. Ilmatar, you can almost smell the river that goes by your home village. And beyond that is the what's known as kind of like the inner lowlands of the forest, and somewhere hidden therein is the Astromancer's lair. I will leave your planning and your strategy to continue up to you now.
So how do we approach your border, Ilmatar?
careful.
Especially now that we have her with us.
Considering we're on business and we really don't have any more time to waste, we kind of just need to be blunt and go to one of the entrances. We really don't have time or the expense to be sneaky or try to go through a back door or something. We just need to go to the front and knock, so to speak.
Can we stop by a river?
We're approaching one.
Good
Good.
enough.
Sometime later that morning, you're able to find your way to that river on the first day. I'll give you guys a little bit of passage of time here. You've got 4 days before you actually get to the edge of the woodland. So you guys tell me. You can do it in soliloquy format. You can deliberate together. How do you spend those next 4 days? Keep in mind, Ayosha's got 2 grades of exhaustion. She probably hasn't bathed in several days, maybe even a chain. She needs sleep. She needs food. And we don't need a hangry hobgoblin woman to bring into public places with other fae people. I mean, you can use wild boar here, of course. You're in the countryside, though. I'll quit my motor mouth. You guys have the floor.
I guess with her being exhausted, our first order of business will find a more defensible place than where we are now. Obviously, being attacked by goblins and taking our food from us in the morning. To find a place to hole up to let her rest.
I will
Please.
give you guys a crag on a hillside.
All right. Okay.
That'll take care of that for you.
So we'll find that, and obviously Relin is going to be counseling that we need to sleep for the day because she needs sleep. So Ilmatar, if you want to step and watch, that's fine. We'll go back into the darkness over here. Me and her will sleep.
Yeah, I'll take first watch.
Okay.
Then we need to get cleaned up and get something to eat.
Yeah. So Relin will actually, initially the thought is he lays down and he looks over at her. He's like, that'd be nice to cuddle up with. But he's like, but nah, he remembers the ache for earlier when he was a bit more forward than he could be. He's like, this takes a little more finesse. Okay, fine. He actually gives her one of his blankets. And then he's going to roll over and actually like put his back, turn his back to her, and he'll actually go to sleep. because it's daytime when he's supposed to be asleep anyway.
All right.
When all civilized people sleep, at least.
Iosha, you're able to find a this cave kind of has kind of like a, I keep wanting to call it like a back pocket secluded area. It's like a separate chamber, but not. Possibly was like a collapsed earthen wall at some point, kind of like half teardrop shaped. There's kind of a lower pit back there that's got like plant matter. You find a couple bones back there. I mean, given, a couple weeks in the right tool, you can probably get yourself a good set of bone daggers, quite a few bone implements out of that, because and it dawns on you the horror. This might be something's lair, and you were tired before, and now you're on edge.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you just possibly found someone or something's bed.
I'm gonna wake up Roland with a very swift grabbing him by the back of the
Oh,
cloak
she's
and
very
shaking
forceful.
him.
Sorry.
Okay, he rolls over and starts to cuddle. Okay.
Lean down, whisper in your ear. Do you want to be
Oh.
murdered in your sleep by a giant bear, or do you want to live?
Well, I mean, if that's your pillow talk, I mean, I would love to live, but I mean,
Fine.
slay me if you must.
Ooh.
Fine. I'll just go get Ilmatar.
Oh no, no, oh wait a
She
minute. This could be
stomps off
interesting.
and goes and gets Ilmatar.
Ilmatar is outside meditating on a rock, with his eyes closed. Hey, Iosha, make me an awareness test as
Oh.
the light of the fading day behind the mountains. I'll give you a -1 here. You still have the dusk light. What did you do, Lynx? Of course. Ilmatar, your eyes are closed, so you can't see. The insides of your eyelids are very beautiful, though.
You told me to make one though.
I
Well, you said you're
did,
the wrong
I
person.
did, but you're meditating on a rock with your eyes closed.
I have the other senses. I can hear.
Oh, excuse me. That's right. Thank you for paying attention. Awareness is not just eyes. Sorry, I have to be kind of a dick as the game master.
Just a little bit.
There are stripes and there are teeth bounding up the slope towards a very tired, not horny at all, hobgoblin woman that just wants to fucking sleep. Make a defense test, Iosha, please. And god damn it, I'm rolling like garbage. Please roll something that's not 2 1s. Watch. Now that I said that, it's gonna be terrible. What the fuck did you do? Link, seriously?
I swear to God, you just curse her. If she dies twice in as many episodes, I'm going to be pissed.
What'd you roll, Links?
I'm bringing you new dice this weekend.
Yeah, we're seriously going to. Yeah, she got a fucking 2. All right. The
Am I able to interject?
on your turn after the surprise round here. This Smilodon pounces on her and deals a whopping 6 vitality damage. A whopping 6. Now you may roll your reaction as a big cat is on top of her. Links, what I'm going to need is an armor test for you. That's a D8 plus, it's a leather hauberk is technically what you're wearing. So that's going to be a 2, a D8 plus 2. Let me just
10.
10. You roll a 10. Oh yeah, no. So you're 133. I see that. No, sorry, that's sorry, Keith.
That's a lot of explosions.
So yeah, it's a lot of explosions. No, so that yeah, no, that armor completely blows out whatever damage that he's gonna do to you. So you basically get tackled, and you don't really suffer any damage there. Um, and Roland, you hear a commotion outside and a big kitty going rawr. And Ilmatar is the first to act. Just
So,
teeth and claws and stripes are now like right that you can
Right.
reach out and touch it.
so I essentially hear this thing, and I probably open my eyes at about you're muted.
And as soon as you open your eyes, cat.
Yeah,
Big kitty.
It's been pounced. So they're like right there.
Well, you're sitting on a rock. You're
Mhm.
meditating. She came up to you, and she probably had enough time to like touch your shoulder when this cat got her. So you just basically look over. Oh shit, cat right there.
Okay. Well, I guess I'm gonna, with my motion, stand up and two-hand baseball swing at this thing and try to get it off of her, or at least get
Okay.
pissed off enough that it moves.
Right. It's not gonna have much of a defense. Yeah, no, it's gonna roll an 8 there. Make me an attack roll. See if you get it. Pretty sure you got it.
24.
24. Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. So
What did it have?
it got a big fat 8. A fat 8.
Cool.
It's very opulent 8. Roll
11
damage.
points of damage.
Oh hell yeah. Hey, Roland. Help.
So Roland will hear the commotion and grab his bow. Come to the entrance of the cave, see this, and he's going to feather this thing with a couple of arrows.
Attaboy. Get him.
To attempt to, at least.
Get him.
Okay.
Get him. Get him. Get him.
First one is a big fat 14.
Oh yeah, big fat 14. And yeah, no.
Second one is a 17.
The first one's gonna get through. Oh shit! And for whatever fucking reason, I rolled a pair of 8s on his second one. So, the first one's gonna get through, and somehow he gets out of the way of the second one in a feline fashion. Roll damage on the first arrow, please. You're using bronze arrows, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
That's 10 points of damage.
Okay. Hard to kill his cats, or harder to kill than cats. Now, Iosha, since you're under a 900-pound cat, and you have, I'm gonna say you've got you've taken a bronze camp knife. That's probably seen better days because you probably has used it for every damn thing since you found it. We're gonna say you probably cut the throat of some Atlantean, and you're able to take some of his shit. You have a clear shot at its belly as it's trying to come at you and mow your face off with with those big teeth.
Oh, I'm going for it.
He's gonna take a hell of a penalty because he's on top of you and he can't really dodge it. So
The jugular.
well, the jugular, the groin, I don't know, something.
I killed 2 of your kind with this. I'm gonna kill you and add you to my collection.
Oh yeah, do it. You need more hides. He can make a very pretty blanket. Get him. For God's sake, Lynx, what'd you get?
23.
Oh,
Add it all up.
he can only do a 3 for his defense right now.
And that
So-
was with no skill in dagger.
Oh, well done. Desperation breeds proficiency is what that is called. You're gonna have at least 4 dispatch on there. Roll damage, please. Damage does explode. Bronze gives you a +0 material bonus, however.
Not a problem.
Actually, you know what? I'll give you a +1. This is Atlantean work bronze. It's a little bit better than usual.
8 and 8 is 16, which would mean 8 and 7 is 15.
15 points of vitality damage. He cannot suppress all of that. You can spill his guts all over you. You can describe for us how the cat dies on top of you.
With one arm holding up the base of his jaw. Just drive it up into his throat and do a nice cut down, prepping his body to add to the pilt collection.
Oh, ick. Oh, you're really gonna need a bath now. Oh, that spills right out on top of you. 900 pounds of cat. No. She disappears underneath this bloody furry mass, gentlemen. And combat ends.
So the Verlon comes out and scans the area around, just in case there's a mate. Oh, double eights. Is there a mate?
Yeah, there's a mate. A very angry female tries to pounce on Roland from above as he comes out for. Hey, Roland.
Yeah.
Please break a 24. Please.
Defensively.
What?
I actually might make that. Hold on.
Oh! I don't need its mass killing you.
28.
Oh, so describe for us how you probably look up just in time to see claws and teeth and you dodge.
So he steps out towards where she's at, and something, probably because of the fact that the light is starting to come up, something from the Lord of Shadows, Lord of Night, draws his attention to the edge of the shadows of the rocks and such around, and notices something wrong. So he literally steps to one side as he looks up as this thing comes down and hits the ground right next to him.
I will give you a free attack since it's right there.
Okay.
Should you wish it, you can try making a point blank shot into its head, into its neck, right there, whatever you want to do.
He'll attempt a point blank shot because he already had arrow knocked.
Okay.
Let's see. It's going to be a 14.
Okay. Lynx, are you going to try and swim out from under there as this is happening? Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
Definitely.
Make me an athletics test. Oh, everything else is muffled, mind you. And the Smilodon's mate takes a big fat 3.
Damage.
Defense.
Okay. All right, that's going to be 13 on the damage then.
Nice. We are back up to Ilmatar as Iosha's a little bit. Well, yeah, with a 3 athletics, you're gonna be down there for a while. The Ilmatar, the corpse of this thing is moving like she's trying to, and hands might be poking out like,
Okay.
God, Azeroth, shit, help.
Am I able to do the whole leverage thing and like get my quarterstaff between them and like try to help her get the Smilodon off?
Yes, athletics test. I'll give you a +2 for the lever. Help. Dying. Cat blood. Sorry, I'm being silly. I apologize. That's how I see it. Just it sucks.
That's a 20 on an athletics check.
It takes some doing as this you're a fae and you're trying to God damn it. Oh, and then thud, this huge thing just goes over and Iosha's covered in blood out, and we are back to Roland. For your second attack.
All right. Well, since I already have the bow out, I'm going to go ahead and try to put another couple of arrows into this thing.
She is going to attempt to attack you once you're done.
The first one's going to hurt.
Good.
31.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, no, she can't blow that out at all. I'm rolling like garbage tonight, too.
The second one's not as great. 12.
12. So roll damage on the first. The second one is not going to land, but that's hard with the story.
13 on the first one.
13 on the first. All right. So this Smilodon with 2 arrows now in it is going to try and attack you. Claw for a 19. A 19 on the die. Man, and I was going to try and sink some teeth into the party, but you guys are doing wonderfully.
The 15 on my defense. So it's going to get me.
Oh, shit. Oh, so that claw is 2d8 plus 6 damage coming in. Oh. Ah, come on. I rolled 2 2s. What I say, 2 2, 6, so 6. 10, just 10 points of vitality damage. It wasn't a very hard swipe, but you just got punched hard.
Well, my armor takes all but 2 of that.
Oh, okay. So really what that equates to is you get poked by the tip of those claws in 2 places, and probably knocked to the ground. Hey, Iosha, you want to get up? I'd very much like to get up.
Yes, please.
And you're able to probably, or you're oriented, I mean, put on the ground as you're getting up, it would be like up over here is what you're seeing, because the mouth of the cave is back that way if you're laying on your back.
Is throwing the spear an option?
You can. Yours is a half spear, I believe. You can throw that.
No. Okay, I'm back. I would very much like to chunk it at that creature.
Do it. Throw it. Get him. Get him.
And that would be considered a normal spear attack, right?
Yes, it is.
All right.
Spears are interesting in this system. Spear, long spear is a polearm. A spear, regular spear is a half spear. You can also throw that.
19.
19 on the attack, and oh, you beat her by 2 points. Roll damage.
Alrighty. Let's go for damage here.
It's looking pretty bad, but let's see what you got. She looks worse for wear, is what I'm saying. You're perfectly fine.
And with a high enough score, you can attack twice, but I can only do it once because I threw it. So
Right. You only have one spirit.
Gotta add my
right?
physique modifier real quick.
Okay. Well, hey, how many spears do you have? Oh, you've 2. Well, you can throw the second one if you want.
Yeah, I just like to just
do it. Well, roll. So the first attack hits.
Second one.
Roll the second attack.
That's a 7 and a 5 plus an 8. So,
oh, for God's sake.
So 12 plus 8, so 20.
The second attack, she rolls a suppress on her. It's 8 and a 1. So both of those attacks land. Roll damage twice.
19 because -1. Yeah, so damage coming in.
Oh yeah, send it. It's gonna hurt.
There's a 3 on one and an 8 on another, so that explodes.
I think you're dispatching
another 8.
Okay. Good God.
Bring the action.
Right.
2 plus 4. So one of them is 26 and the other is 7.
This is damage.
Yes.
She is dead as fuck because total vitality on a Smilodon is 24. He had doubled her vitality. So you can describe for us what kind of lightning bolts you basically summoned and put
Yes.
them into the size of this big cat. Gentlemen, we have a tribal huntress on our side. We're just very glad she's with us.
Seeing the companion who she had just treated very cruelly on the ground, and having just been pulled out of another Smilodon, Ayosha is very, very pissed and takes that bone, the bone spear, which, if you look closely, actually looks like a Smilodon thigh bone sharpened. Weighs it and just chunks it. Grabs another one that looks like a Smilodon's femur and throws it as well.
They both land with the accuracy and the power of a huntress, dropping this thing, killing it before it hits the ground, and the dust settles. And Ayosha is now at 3 grades of exhaustion because Mama is so done.
I don't care who sleeps in the cave tonight. I don't care where you sleep. Warmth, sleep, pile of leaves and bones in the back.
Merlon will actually very respectfully cover her with his blanket and then himself proceed outside as the light is going down.
We now have no light on the west side of the mountains.
All right. He'll go outside with that and he'll take over from Ilmatar and say, take your rest, my friend.
She is out before her head hits her rock pillow.
He's going to use his wild lore to harvest some of the meat from these animals.
Awesome.
Hell yeah. I even skin them pretty well too, based off that.
Hell yeah.
It's 19.
I'll say you can take both hides. I mean, they
Okay.
need to be tanned, but I mean,
Still, it's hides.
I will let
Hell yeah,
you
Matar.
take
He can
one.
tan.
Oh, there you go. I'll let you take whatever you guys want to carry. Keep in mind you have your encumbrance to worry about. You could probably put a sledge together
Okay.
to drag most of that, but there's a lot of food here.
Okay.
A lot of bone too. So, and for Ilmatar,
Try what we can before we leave.
you can probably get quite a bit of ritual components out of these too.
Mhm.
Ilmatar will help Roland with like the field dressing at the moment, so to speak. And then he will head to bed and say we'll deal with it when we all wake up more, if you don't have it all done.
I mean, at the least we're going to take the viscera and move it further away from the cave, so we're not attracting, other animals to the area. So
How long do you stay here? She's got to sleep. If she takes
Yeah.
another grade of exhaustion, she will be on death's door.
at least a full night's rest,
Okay.
a full possibly part of the next day. So
Okay.
I mean, honestly, with how much there is to do with these carcasses, it's probably going to take us a good day or two to get done anyway.
I would liberally say at least 2 days to get everything taken care of with this. Now, so Ayosha, was that a 2 that you've got grades in meditation? Or did you roll a 2?
4 grades, 2 bonus.
Oh, make me a meditation test then. Morpheus might visit you. With a 16. Yeah, as you quite literally just pass out, the next thing that you know, your senses, although heightened as you are a prominent tribal member of your community, a credit to your race of Drow kind, you are met by a mortal that also is not mortal. It looks in this depiction like a Nemersian, a tribal human with the diamond-shaped freckles on their cheeks and the bridge of their nose. But he is in flowering blue, gray, violet, and purple robes draped around him, and you know that your shamans speak of an individual known as Morpheus, the god of dreams and the dreamscape. And for a mortal, he's actually quite handsome, universally quite handsome. But he comes to you in the way a trickster would. Your culture has no truck with these damn things. Practical jokes are perfectly fine, but when you're a bastard, you're a bastard. Drow have little in the way of use for practical jokesters. But he doesn't say anything to you, but he just, in your dreamscape, it's like his lips move like he's talking to you, but you couldn't possibly begin to fathom what alien tongue he speaks to you in, and it's almost like you're too tired to comprehend, like reading lips, but the images kind of form, and you're back in your village. The young Drow that are playing in the river, half naked, the boys and girls playing in the water and swimming, and it is summer. It's actually rather hot, and you remember this. You were like a 14-year-old girl at this time, and you were working on a bit of cloth that you were either weaving or embroidering yourself with your babushka, and you remember a scarf that you'd made. As you know, culturally, Drow women really don't wear a whole hell of a lot of clothing because their standards of modesty are way different than mortals. And you're making a shawl for yourself that would basically cover up your top. And there are fish people marching into your village and killing these young Drow. And on the other side of the village, there are Arboreans astride mammoths, and they're trampling these fishmen to pulp beneath their mammoths. And your people are just simply caught in the crossfire. And there are 2 lights, a black one and a silvery one. And you know that they are the way out. And you run towards them. And you wake up that next day refreshed, but with kind of a lingering sense of foreboding. In this cave, you smell smoke. You don't know if you don't know if you actually see it or not, because you're kind of coming into reality from the dreamscape. So your eyes kind of play. Like, is that smoke? You kind of like go put your hand through it. It was like trying to like wave the smoke away, but no, it's not there. But I certainly smell it.
Smelling the smoke and as coming more into the dreamscape, Ayosha is going to, as her mind clicks into gear, realize, yeah, that's smoke, and just her mind is going to quickly click into gear, and she is going to burst out of that cave. She hates fire, anything to do with fire, fire bad.
As you stumble out of this cave, we have what's left of the great cat carcasses, and it's Roland that's got a bit of flint that he's trying to start a fire with. When he sees you, and look at the terror on your face, but he has a moment where, oh, I should probably not do that. He just very deftly puts those in a pocket. And with that charming smile that says good morning. Awkward silence in the camp now. On the third day.
Raw flesh is better. Fire is bad. Fire
If you
alerts
wish.
enemies. Fire is a signal. Fire burns people.
Fire makes light.
Fire makes light. Eat raw.
Okay. So, all right, that can be that's fine. We can do that. Come on out and have some food.
Ayosha will nod and, still staring at you cautiously, reach for a piece of meat, snatch it back, and just start munching on it. And between munches, because all traces of civility have been gone by the woods at this point, she'll just try to make idle conversation. So these cats, their bones make good spears. Their bodies, really good for eating. Have we consecrated any of the blood? Like, can I have blood?
If you wish.
Yeah, I need blood.
I mean, that's more Ilmatar's area than mine. I just want the fangs. He holds a pair of them up, which he's been messing around with a little bit, wrapping them with some of the leather to make sort of basic daggers.
Would it bother you too much, Ilmatar, if I got the thigh bones, or at least one of each thigh bone, and some blood?
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. Ayosha will walk over to where these mounds of basically slowly
Flesh
being
and
taken
bone.
apart. And she will just slowly just start scooping up blood, walk over to the nearest tree and put it down, and then walk back.
That is a maple tree, by the way. If that has any bearing on you.
You'll grow stronger now.
She's talking to a tree. Atta girl. You are attracting carrion birds. If you look up, there's about 6 of them up there. I will say though, for Ayosha's sake, you feel great. Like, now this may or may not be a little personal TMI or graphic, but it's you had a great night's sleep. It felt like you got laid, and you just feel fucking great. Like there's nothing wrong in the world right now.
So
I mean, you kind of feel like you stink a little bit, but besides all that,
so
I feel great.
where are we headed? We're gonna go cut off some mer people heads. Are we gonna go to camp? Where are we going? Let's get some stuff done.
We're going to visit a very wise person like Equin's Ilmatar, him.
Are we murdering him so Ilmatar can take his place?
No, we're going to ask his advice.
Oh. Huh.
You want to get rid of that stone?
Oh, this one?
No. The stone.
Oh.
And that great feeling just dissipated.
That's what we're going to go figure out.
You had to kill the great bird.
I do my best from time to time.
Let me at least feed the birds in the trees before we go.
You need also go use the river and clean up a little bit.
What? I look fine.
Covered in Smilodon blood. It works
Yeah.
for some people, not for him.
At this point, the birds will follow you, and they'll be more of a sign than a fire ever would to any enemy.
A sign of fear.
Easily tracked.
It does now dawn upon you that you probably have a whiff of yourself and go, oh.
Yeah, yeah, I'll go bathe in the river. Let me finish feeding the tree and the birds first. She'll walk over and start lifting up parts. Ilmatar, you need this. You need this.
Ilmatar will let you know what you can take. So yes.
And she'll take what you say you don't need and just using the claws that she has for fingernails, dig a pit beneath the tree. Very reminiscent of the cat that she's just killed. Shove a portion of it beneath the tree. And then put the rest in an oddly circular fashion around it. And then head towards the river.
You're able to bathe in peace, thankfully. Unless Roland wants to be a peeping Tom. I mean, come on. I mean, would he? We put it past him? We don't. But should anyone not allow it, the day passes relatively uneventfully. However, the reference to that stone, it almost seems like that stone has a mind of its own and likes to come into your mind and say, "Oh, you remember me." That horrid, nightmarish feeling that you're reminded of, and now that lingering dread seeps back in. You're well far enough away, so. Even that stink of sorcery here doesn't sit well with you. And so, yeah, Roland can perv out on Ayosha's very muscular V-shaped Amazonian back as she bathes.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't see anything. No one can see, no one can tell.
No, he doesn't see anything with a 22 stealth. He doesn't see shit. But anyway. Oh man, the show has to end and we have to get back on this adventure. I'm going to say sometime later that evening, as one of you is nocturnal, you get your things together. I'm going to assume that you had made a sled of some kind to drag a lot of these supplies with.
Yes.
Okay. I will give you a list of supplies after the session ends, what you've got. What do you mean, what do we feed Ilmatar? Ilmatar he's an omnivore. He can eat whatever the hell he wants.
So are we going to travel at night at this point? Would it be easier for us or safer for us to travel at night?
Are you asking the narrator or the party?
I'm asking the party.
I'm not there. I'll shut up.
Because I would like to travel at night now that we know that there are, I mean, we're getting close to Ilmatar's borders. I mean, I don't know. My people send out parties to scout the territories around, and a lot of times if it's someone they don't recognize, they won't ask questions before attacking. I'm assuming, Ilmatar, that your people were the same way.
Oh, it's been a while, but I mean, yeah, I would like to assume that. We can probably travel at night till we get really close, and we probably want to be visible.
Okay, well, in that case, if we want to travel tonight, I might be able to make it easier on the two of you. So it will take a few moments, though, for me to actually make preparations, but I believe I have everything I need for it.
So what is your plan?
He sets up a ritual. Sets out his stones, sets out his marks out his circles and such, and brings out a few things from a pouch. There's some fine ash that he has, and a few little like there's a brush, there's a mortar and pestle. There's a small vial of oil that he's always carried with him. He has not as of yet used. He begins to mutter his prayers to his god, Feldane, and asks him to bring to him the vision of his people. He then unceremoniously walks over to Ilmatar and plucks a hair from his head, the same for Myosha.
Doink!
Blends that into the mortar and pestle with the ash and the oil, and he begins basically creating a paste. Once he has this paste finely ground in, and he's put a bit of power into this thing, 2 power points for that.
2 spell points, all right.
Yeah, 2 spell points. He goes over and takes this mortar and pestle to Ilmatar and Iosha, and he dips his thumb in it, and he paints an arc across their forehead above their eyes. Using the aspect of night, he is going to give them the same vision that he has at night. And it will last till dawn. So I shall roll my ritual.
Well done.
Do it.
Are you also scrying? Is that what I heard?
Who, me?
Yeah, you're asking for an image of your people.
Oh no, I was saying that giving the vision of my people to them.
Oh! I was going to say.
So,
I mean, if you wanted to scry and possibly see your companions, you can.
I may actually try that here in a moment. Then that is going to be a 24 on the ritual to give them the vision. And yeah, he'll go ahead and try to do a scry, just a basic one. That would fall under the aspect of secrets.
Right. You're gonna need an implement to actually see. You could put water in a bowl,
Okay.
make that mirror. Do you have a crystal?
He has some pieces that are polished obsidian that could possibly be a black mirror.
I'll allow it.
Okay.
How big is this? Are we talking?
It's basically the width of a palm.
Oh,
About
that's
the size of a palm.
okay. No,
So-
yeah. You can use a flat face for that.
So he's going to do that and see if he can get a vision of what's going on with his people. That is going to be a whopping 12.
A whopping 12.
Yeah, that is going to roll.
It's not a great roll, but it's moderate. Now then, the image that you have that comes to your mind is as night's falling, you have one individual that you scry. And it's actually the captain. He is one of the few individuals who actually brought a mount with him to war. The captain rides a Keithong, one of the many rites of passages for male adulthood amongst many of the more traditional Fae cultures is to go out into the woods, find a griffin, and steal the eggs. And if you can, steal one, and hopefully a Keithong, a male griffin, actually comes out of this egg. And it's kind of a test of responsibility, and at least masculine manhood is, can I provide for this beast? Can I provide as a husband? Can I provide as a man for my companions? That sort of thing. And so your captain, he's passed his test, and you have no idea how old he is. He's much older than you. And the scene is he's out for a ride in these plains, and he comes across an Atlantean woman. She's out for a walk, and he doesn't, he spies her from the saddle, and he dismounts, and he approaches her on foot. You know, he's clad head to toe in ebon. He looks like an automaton of ebon. And this Atlantean woman, for the Umbriad standard, she is stunningly beautiful. She would be ranked in some of the more highest, more prominent harems. She's quite blindingly beautiful. You can almost probably mistake her as a fae herself from a distance. And you see in this mirror, she sees him coming. And she pulls a long, slender dagger out from her trapping. And you see her lips move. And she says, I have never met a man such as yourself. By your bearing and by your walk, I can see that you are a lord of the fairies. With this slender dagger at her side, she kind of like runs a hand through her hair, and almost just kind of like accentuates the curve of her skull and her shoulder. And he takes his helmet off. And the captain is obviously, he's no slouch as well. He is very handsome for his species as well. She continues, what would you have with a foreign girl such as me? Do these... She looks down at her thigh, and she pulls her trapping away from her thigh. She goes, do these curves please you? And he replies with, my eyes feast upon thee, lady. But I see that you are alone. Where is your escort in such a dangerous land such as these? And these times are interesting times for us all. She goes, I am alone to see what I am to find in these lands. I am an oracle for my people. And quoth he, then grant me a vision, lady, an oracle of your people. What will I see? And what is your price? And he gives her the elevator eyes. He's quite literally undressing what's left of her clothing. And as Roland is kind of, I'm gonna let Keith actually explain this. You're basically watching the before scene of whatever eroticism that you have in your literature back home. Whew. And she smiles, maybe a little bit, like half coyly, half playfully. She goes, "Lay with me. That is my price, Lord of the Fairies." And he cannot get his armor off quick enough. And I will leave it to Keith to describe the rest of this scene in the soliloquy. As the captain, a man of his military station, you would follow into the underworld if he asked you, beds down an Atlantean woman.
Bravo. That would be Roland's thought. Because obviously one of the tenets of his faith is to go forth and multiply in as many ways as possible. So bringing the strong bloodline of the Umbriad and mixing it with the obviously strong bloodline of Atlanteans should produce something very interesting. He obviously is a bit jealous, but at the same time, it's that jealousy of knowing someone has done something that he has not, is basically what it comes down to. As far as the intimacy and how it plays out, if anyone else were to be looking at that, they would, see things that might not be physically possible according to their thoughts. Just because when you have a race that is as long-lived as us and takes such pleasure in carnal thought and carnal things, we come up with very interesting ways of doing it. So as a matter of fact, what the others may actually see might be a bit uncomfortable, actually. As it's obviously Roland has himself becomes a bit aroused at the whole thing. So.
As that scene passes, you find out in this conversation that the Atlantean woman is the wife of the governor of Shebkhana. Shebkhana is the Atlantean capital on the mainland. He is not the king of Atlantis, but he is a distant relation, and through military conquest as well as right and noble privilege, he was able to find himself a wife who is a magician himself, and his wife just slept with the commander of the enemy, and not so sure if she's defected or if she's just experimenting herself. But that scene fades with this knowledge that your people are safe and the captain is taking care of business, at least from the Unseelies' point of view. You may rest well with the light of that dying sun in the east behind the mountains. As we continue, the floor is yours again.
Roland, as he sort of stretches languidly after his his ritual. Um, for those who may have seen the whole thing, rituals usually don't end that way. But hey, everything has its place, I suppose. He looks over at Ilmatar and says, "My people are okay. How's the vision? Is it settling in well?"
Ilmatar has this like partial smirk, partial blush, not really saying much, because he's heard stories, and being at various camps with Umbriads, he's definitely heard things, not always just stories. So the scene in particular didn't completely shock him, but to see it firsthand was kind of a blow to the psyche, so to speak.
I will say though, I'm quite certain that that was a private viewing, in at least
Yes.
in Roland's the mirror in his hand. But
Yeah.
unless Roland wants to share, then
Oh, he's not going to go into detail about it, but he'll say the vision I received was that my people are well. My captain is proceeding quite well, actually. So his conquests are many and apparently varied. And for the time, they can survive without me, I guess. Although, well, I may have a bit of information to trade to your people when we get there.
Sounds like a plan.
the next scene will unfold as the stage curtains close for a few moments and open again to our three companions out on a what looks to be a well-worn deer path. It's not through a woodland. It's a moderately forested river basin. Moving through this, and future descendants of Ilmatar will recognize the hill that a village that has been burned 7 times will be rebuilt upon. There is no village here currently.
Goddamn Hawthorne.
But it is a beautiful hilltop, perfect for a village. You see it off in the distance, and the words leave your mouth. That would be a beautiful place to live. And we continue. Some hours later, in the middle of the night, you find yourselves close, very close to the edge of the woodland realm of the fair folk, and in Roland's mind, you hear the captain's voice. Finish what you're doing over there and return to us. We have words. We have taken a goblin stronghold in the mountains. I do not like these stars that I sleep beneath. Too many of these constellations read in a negative omen. And we don't have time to shilly-shally here.
Roland will still pause for a moment, bring out one of his stones, do a bit of a chant over that, and whisper upon the wind an answer. We seek an astromancer to gain knowledge about a sickness upon this land that may be to our advantage to remove.
A few moments later on the wind, an answer comes into your mind. The astromancer was with a questioning tone.
The reply is yes. I shall be the first of our kind to meet him in a long, long time. I'll tell you the tale.
I expect a full report when you come back. We
As does Feldane.
we cannot move from this position. There is a black smoke that hangs in the lowlands, and our people cannot move through the mountain passes. I fear a dragon is in our neighborhood.
I'll ask after this.
Be about it
Yes.
and travel safely. Shadows be upon you and secrets be many. And then your communication goes silent. You find just a few moments later, you're about to cross a stone bridge, a beautifully decorated stone bridge with one hooded figure standing in your road. A sword on each hip, and the horns of the customary of a fair folk stick out from the darkness of this deep hood. He's standing in the center of this bridge with his arms crossed over his chest, and it is a masculine figure. Ilmatar knows that all of the roads that go into the woodland have a gatekeeper. It's always one. It does not matter who or what, but each one has a gatekeeper. And as the stories go, some are vicious, some are mean, others are very superstitious, and others still kill first and don't ask questions. These are not your trees. And you've also heard tales that one such gatekeeper is not an individual to be trifled with, no matter how many you throw at them. Some of the greatest fighters of your people serve as gatekeepers.
Well, I guess I'll take point when we see this guy then, and hope to the deities that he's one of the understanding ones.
You may proceed however you wish.
So yeah, like I said, I'll be in front. What time of day is it right now?
Nightfall was a couple hours ago.
Well, in that case, I'll actually look back and say, should we approach now or should we wait till daytime when we can, properly be seen?
He's out there standing in the middle of the road lit by tiki torches, basically what it comes down to. He's seen you already.
Well, yeah.
Right.
Let's-
Whether or not you
say
want to be
approach
received
now.
now or in the daylight is up to you.
That's
Why
what I'm
not go
saying.
now?
Now is when I'm most comfortable.
Okay.
I mean, you have me and dressed the way I am, so either way,
Yes,
How,
yes, we know you have a belly button. We know.
how deep is the river here?
I don't know, narrator. How deep is the river here?
Yeah, 15, 20 foot deep.
So
It's a river. It's not a fjord, but it's a river.
is it quite wide here? It's like a narrow area where it's like going through a ravine or something, or
You cannot pull a Robin Hood Men in tights here, Keith.
No. This is a ravine. Has been eroded. So yes, it's deep.
there's no easy fording up
Yeah, no.
rivers to the- okay.
It would be a pain in the ass to ford here. You probably have to go downriver a dozen or so miles and then cross that way.
think we could bribe him.
Let me talk to him first.
Okay.
All right, I
If you
trust
see
you.
me
What
if you see me get stabbed, just back off.
What's the worst that could happen? I mean, I only got lit on fire once.
I'm not there.
Narrators,
I'm just the narrator. I'm not there.
Merlon is just going to prepare himself and sort of get himself into combat mindset if he needs to.
Ayosha will grab a bone spear and just start picking at her claws with it.
Okay.
So yeah, I will. Well, I guess I'll walk forward until he basically either like 10 feet away. I'm guessing that's about where the tiki torch light will be, or he says something for me to have to stop and reply. You're muted. Narrator, you're muted.
As soon as you step onto that bridge, he'll address you. Actually uncross his arms and kind of walk a few feet in your direction and kind of call to you. Who goes there?
Ilmatar of the Dawn Fairfolk. Priest to the Silent Monolith. Warden of the Winter.
And I call, comes back. Oh, good, Ilmatar. Good evening to you. And he takes his hood off. And he kind of looks past you to see your companion just kind of like lingering just beyond the light of the torches there. And who be they?
Those are my traveling companions. We have come to speak to the Astromancer.
Well, come forward. Let me have words with you first.
He'll come forward.
He'll actually walk out to the center of the bridge, and actually extend a hand to you. Shake your hand. He goes, the High King has made it abundantly clear that he does not like forests. Usually, foreigners amongst our trees. You know this well.
But desperate times, my friend, desperate times.
I thought you'd say that. Now, I don't want to kill anyone because I've just had my tea and my dinner. And he points to a line of heads on the side of the bridge, just going very, very neatly in a row. I mean, they're very pretty, but they're heads. They're Atlantean troopers. He goes, that I don't want any more killing tonight. So, what do you have for me? And he kind of says that with this almost like double meaning, kind of like just lets it hang in the air as a hand is a gauntleted hand sort of rests on your shoulder. And yes, you are of his people. Mm-hmm. You're probably very distant cousins, kinsmen, but he's also keeping you with a hand on you and within dagger reach. Like, this is gatekeepers are very treacherous, and
right.
He's trying to be very cordial, but this is business.
Right.
And it's almost like he's got one eye on you, and the other two eyes that he clearly fucking has is on your two companions, because if they get crazy, he's got to kill all three of you.
Right. Dark times. We need to speak to the Astromancer, then we're leaving again. What will it? And he kind of pauses for a second. Cost to ensure the three of us are not harassed
That's going to cost a lot, but you don't have much on you. Well, you can owe me later. You can... Well, how about this? I let you pass, but you can't let anyone see you. Not even you. You're not supposed to be here.
Is he up?
Not now. The Astromancer is not taking appointments these days, you see.
He's going to want to take this one.
I thought you'd say that. But by the forest road, that's another 2 chains from here to even find his valley. And that you might be searching for another couple months to look for. And no one knows where that is.
He's always going to have the answer, though.
Right. But you know the keys. There's 3 of them. And there's riddles. You have to know the answers to these riddles to open the door. This is not a light journey. So, with the back of this companion, with your companions here, Roland and Iosha, you see these 2 fair folk, very conspiratorial talk, and every so often, they go, just looking over at you. Maybe some slight discomfort there. We'll get a few words from either of you.
Iosha's gonna kind of look over and look at Roland. Look over. Do I need to flash my belly button and offer a one night stand to get us through this bridge?
All it takes. I'll kill him real quick, and then I'll become the gate guardian if that's what it takes. I mean, he sort of gives her that sly smile as he says that.
How many times do I need you now?
Yeah, well, hey, make it stop. No, yeah.
Iosha's gonna look over at the guardian, drop the spear, and just kind of like fluff at the hair and wave at him, and just kind of,
Rolando will look over at her, look up at the guardsman, and wink, roll a lure. You never know.
Hey,
I'll try a lure as well.
There you go.
It's a 16.
Did she pull up like a pant leg and kind of like do the whole ankle
Double
and thigh thing?
eights, and
Oh,
I have
nice.
nothing in a lure.
She's hot. Yeah.
Let me see how well these dice do here.
I mean, with that kind of roll, you can probably be blunt as shit and just take your pants off. Hey, you want some of this? So back with the other 2 on the bridge. What the hell is she doing over there?
37.
Counting.
She not know what, but what is she doing? Is that a trowel?
Completely stripped down at this point.
That's a naked trowel.
Yes. Yes, it is.
And a very amazed Umbriad.
Oh. I'm married, but that looks nice.
It said, what will it cost? Oh.
She might be quite beautiful, but if my wife hears about this, I'm a dead man.
Remember, we're not going to be seen.
I know.
So who would she hear it from?
That's the thing. He has ears and she hears shit. And some of these leaves, he looks around at the trees, some of the leaves have eyes too. So, thank you for the view,
So can
but I'll
I
take
hear?
your coin.
Can I hear this? By the way, when you say
No, you
this
guys
stuff?
are out. You're
Okay.
way out of earshot.
You think this is working, Roland?
His eyes are
seems
glued
interested.
to you.
He seems interested.
She's gonna start breaking into some spear forms.
Oh, oh, lovely. But no, he's no. I'll take your coin. How much you got?
How much do you need?
To buy my silence? $70 crowns. And that's the deal. Nobody sees you. Oh. Shit, did I freeze there for a moment? Freezing up. Oh, shit. I am getting some fucking lag here.
Yeah,
Good
you
enough?
get a bit laggy there. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. You guys seem to be back now, though.
Okay, cool. Oh, it just says, yeah, no. To buy my silence, I'll take 70 from you.
Amatar, he'll sit down and think for a second. Give you half up front and half when we come back through. Because then I know if we are found out, it couldn't have came from you. Because you would not risk that payout.
I accept these terms. Stay off the road. And gives you your hand. Actually, he offers his hand. Shake your hand on the deal.
Yep. Then
They seem to
Amatar
have
give
come
him
to-
35 gold.
It seemed to come to some kind of deal there, Iosha. Apparently, I guess he has the you and gold.
I guess.
I'd be insulted.
So she starts putting back on the armor. That's you. That's Feldane.
Amatar will kind of do the whole hand motion for him to come forward.
Should I? And as we're walking by, should I whisper sweet nothings in the gate guard's ear as we walk by, just to make sure we sold the deal?
I would keep it low key just in case.
Oh, all right. Yeah.
Now the gatekeeper, he takes a few steps off to the side and he leans against the stone wall of the bridge and he offers you the road.
As he does. It is a pleasure to meet you now. I assume
will
you
never-
own me.
We will
And
never
Trow.
seen. We will never be seen.
He just simply does this.
Oh. I turned to Ilmatar. What tent am I supposed to go to?
Don't worry about it. You say we're not supposed to be seen?
We were never seen. We are not
Oh.
to be seen.
Excellent. He
So-
waves his hand and darkens the light around them. Then we won't.
There's no need for that. I'm the only one here.
Well, as you say, but there could be eyes about.
Well, he kind of looks around a little conspiratorially. Kind of
Mhm.
places where there might be other eyes, but he checks for you. No.
In this way, you can say you did not see us cross the bridge.
Mm. You're a follower of Feldane, are you not? He's speaking Feywise to you.
One of its emissaries. I'll reply
Mm.
in Feywise.
You specifically. No one saw you.
They will not. I was never here.
I know. Now be off with you.
May Azeroth bless your trees.
He just nods. Oh. Well, thanks you for the blessing, and just pulls his hood back down. He's got a long night watching a very lonely forest road ahead of him.
Oh yeah.
I mean, at least he has a really good image in his head to pass the time.
I'll keep him warm for a few days. But
Hopefully, yeah.
what I will do is I will again give you a passage of time here. You will be on the forest road for at least 1.5 chains. That'll be 15 days. I would like for the three of you to give me a brief overview individually of what you're doing over these 15 days, and we will end each of your scenes on the evening of the 15th day. Ayosha, you are up first.
Iosha is keeping an eye on her companions. She has already lost them. And now that she has them back, she doesn't want to lose them again. She's been trying to pretend like everything's fine, but it's not. Every time they go to bed down, she's triple checking that nothing in the area is a creature. Nothing's going to hurt her companions. And she wakes up multiple times in the night to make sure that everybody's asleep, whoever's not on guard is protected. And during the travels, she is collecting many different types of seeds for the many different bodies she's going to bury. So the pockets that she has made out of the catgut and Smilodon fur are quite bulging at this point with seeds. And she is just consistently trying to smile and be jovial.
And Roland, how have you spent this chain and a half?
So Roland is going to focus on covering their tracks, keeping them off the road, making sure that their passage is not only not noted, but if one comes across as a skilled hunter looking for tracks, possibly they will not be found. He actually even throws in a few a bit of obfuscation, red herrings, if you will, in that in a few places where they can't cover their tracks, he actually goes back and adds claws from the Smilodons to the footprints. So it looks as if a Smilodon may have come through, and even does some scratchings and such as if a territory marker has been done. So maybe they'll throw them off the scent and think, there's a Smilodon in the area. So they'll keep them looking at that instead of looking for us. When they camp, of course, he is going to obviously counsel every time travel at night. When they camp during the day, he'll always look for a place that is hidden, a place that is easily concealed, a place that has two ways out. So that if something does come from one direction, they can stealthily move somewhere else. Obviously, no fires. So we are eating, raw in most cases, keeping the foraging to a minimum if need be. And that is really his main focus, is to keep the party from being seen. If they have to go near somewhere that is populated at night, he is going to cast a ritual at sundown to help conceal them, to bring the shadows closer around him and his companions so that they can pass the night as shadows and not be easily spotted by sentries.
And Ilmatar.
For the most part, during this trip, Ilmatar will be taking care of probably a majority of the foraging. when they had any of the supplies left from the Smilodons before taking care of the hides and whatnot. He does, with him being part of the Winter Sect, have some aspect of control of darkness or the night. So he will help Roland with keeping them concealed as much as possible, as well as he will be making daily prayers to the silent monolith that the earth hold them and, you know, protect them and hide them when need be. So hopefully it can always find a cave or an outcropping or something out of the way, so we don't disrupt the natural earth any more than we absolutely need to get done what needs to be done. Yeah, besides that, it's really just maintaining their path, their route. Iosa is worried about, you know, their well-being. Roland's trying to make sure they're not being tracked or seen, so he is taking up more of the we're staying on the right path, we're making the quickest time, all the little things that need to be taken care of to ensure a smooth journey.
All right. We will close the session a bit earlier than usual. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in reverse order for character soliloquies. On the evening of the 15th day, you have passed just within the limits of the inner lowlands of the Woodland Kingdom. Off in the distance, you will see the cemetery lands, these loping plains that the fair folk viciously protect. Fair folk do not allow any sort of grave robbing at all. They're very protective of their actual dead. It's different to actually die in battle or sick or from sickness. It's a different thing entirely to go to the grove. So in reverse order, Ilmatar, would you give us your closing soliloquy of the evening and narrate the quiet moments of this day for us?
So this particular settlement with the grove and the graves and stuff, that's probably pretty important in his eyes.
Oh yeah. From a spiritual standpoint, these people who are actually buried in cairns didn't get to go to the grove, and the grove is where fair folk go to go into the true afterlife. As fair folk don't die, they simply start to grow old, and the grove starts to call to them. They gather up their things, their earthly possessions. Many of them dress for war. They go off into the woodlands, are never seen or heard from again. And it really depends on who you talk to, what happens to you. But the gravelands are for people who actually died. And fair folk don't die. That's why it's extremely taboo. You do not go there without permission. And if you are found, it does not matter. If you're a fair folk, you're man, woman, child, whatever, you are killed. Plain and simple. It doesn't matter what race, it doesn't matter what have you. The Astromancer is not allowed to go there without permission. The High King of the Fair Folk is not allowed to go there without permission. The Rangers will kill you. Plain and simple. It is extremely taboo. This is off in the distance. You're not going there. But that is a cultural landmark to you. That's
So
the backdrop of your scene.
probably then for most of that day where he can see that, that's going to be spent, unless like something immediately calls his attention, that's going to be spent probably in meditative contemplation, you know, praying for the souls there, praying for the ones that didn't make it, you know, like all that deep philosophical religious stuff. But it's not going to be like he's going to sit on a stump all day and do it. It's going to be more that as they travel hands together, but he's going to be kind of walking on like autopilot. Like I said, unless basically one of his compatriots or something jars him out of it, that's just almost like he's taking a religious holiday today. That he can see that is where his mind is at right now. Nothing else matters right now.
As we go to Roland for your closing soliloquy.
Roland is in one of the few places he truly loves to be. The precepts of his faith often leads him into the bed of others, obviously. It leads him to speak with others about things that they hold dear. For the past chain and a half, he has been in a place that none of his people have ever actually been. He is drinking the world in with his eyes. He'll probably, once he notices Ilmatar at that point, being very contemplative toward this specific area, he'll probably ask about what that is. And it's up to Ilmatar if he tells him or not. But he'll soak it in, if you will, lay his eyes upon it, see the secrets that are there. And though he may not be able to pull all the secrets out, he gets the beginning of them. And these he will hold dear, although he may report what what information is needed back to the captain of the force. He understands he's not going to give him that without something in return. And he's beginning to formulate what that return may be, considering the vision that he had and the person that he has a relationship with now, which may be able to gain information or contacts even for Roland. For though the Umbriad nation is very important and holds his loyalty, Feldane holds more loyalty than his people do. For Feldane is their lord. Feldane is their father. And if he can do things that will please Feldane, then he will, and of course, obviously do things that will help his people. Feldane says, give no secrets for that price, but gain those secrets as you can. So he is going to be spending time paying attention, a lot of attention.
And in these quiet moments, as we're beginning to set up camp in, it's almost a secluded grove, almost like a pocket of a pocket clearing where maybe a few deer had slept a few nights ago, covered in roots. Very safe, very secure here. No fire. With the light of the half moon above, we look into Iosha's mind as she probably lays down that new Smilodon hide mat blanket that she's got going on. Probably has a pack for a pillow. What do we see?
Iosha's mind is filled with conflicting thoughts. On one hand, the forest is causing sadness as she thinks about her people that are gone. But on the other, it's filled with a little bit of excitement and terror combined as she realizes these are grounds that Azeroth himself could be walking on. She's seen trees living, she's seen trees withering. She's just surrounded by nature. Trees everywhere. It's a giant forest, and there's so many possibilities here, so many things that need to be fed. But at the same time, if she feeds them all, would that be going against the ways that she had been taught about him? She hadn't been taught much by her people, as he was somebody to be feared. So she's learning as she goes about what she should do and should not do. And she knows that she's going against what her tribe believed beforehand, that he was terrifying. And as she lays down to sleep that night, she clutches that little pouch of seeds that she filled up with all different kinds. And she thinks about the fact that she wishes she still had one acorn left to plant a tree that this forest had never seen before in his honor. That way, she could bring a little bit of home here and a little bit of her deity here.
Beautifully said. And with that, we will close the session. Session 4 of Lingering Sickness. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. We will be back in a couple weeks for session 5. Good night, everybody.
Good night.